Hey guys, DannyDonuts here, and welcome back to another episode of my Deep Deck Dive series. Man, we've got a good one coming this week. I'm really excited. It's been a long time waiting, too. This guy's been commenting very frequently for the past couple videos, and it's finally his time to shine. Got a little bit of celebrity here with the suggestion. We've got one of the Cripperinos. We've got Smorkerino Cripperino. And he suggested a Priest deck. What type of deck, you might ask? Well, it is Murloc Priest. And that's really exciting because 99% of all Priest decks are either control or combo. There's no aggro Priest decks. And this is really going to just move everyone's expectations. Everyone's going to mulligan wrong against us. It's going to be fantastic. So let's get started. Let's build this deck. So first off, we want to determine how Murloc-y we want to make the deck. Now, I don't suggest when we start making this deck putting every single Murloc in, but I mean, this isn't going to be like an anyfin paladin where you only put the Murlocs do damage. You need to have a core base, probably pretty similar to Murloc Paladin. So let's take a peek at that. Let's take a peek at our Murlocs. Grimscale Oracle is going to be questionable if we put it in the deck or not. Depends on what we need for aggro, but typically in Priest you want a lot of 1-drops. You're definitely taking the Tide Callers. Sir Finley's going to be great because it changes our healing hero power into an aggressive one. Bluegill Warrior, sure, why not? Don't need the Tide Hunters yet. We'll come back and do a second pass once we've gotten all the other tools for the deck. Rockpool's a definite yes. War Leader's a yes. Seer is potentially good, but we'll have to see. Amalgam is definitely really good. Megasaur goes in. And then we get Murk-Eye and Finja. So that's 15 cards there. Seems pretty good to me right now, and we'll come back and see what we want from this pool as well. We might want to add in the Seers, but now let's just add in the cards that will help supplement us in with this aggro deck. So any aggressive Priest cards, which are few and far between, to be perfectly honest. So we can definitely add Northshire Cleric, because draw is going to be difficult. Draw is one of our biggest issues as Priest, because we'll just play out our hand and then have no way to draw stuff. So double Power Word Shield. Velen's Chosen's a good card. Let's play Velen's Chosen. And when we're running Power Word Shield and Velen's Chosen, we want to run the Radiant Elemental. But I really don't think we need Shadow Visions, because I think that these are the only spells worth playing. We could go crazy and run a Shadow Form. Shadow Form's interesting and for extra burst, but we're already running Finley, so I think that's okay. We might want to add more draw cards. An interesting one is Jeeves. Jeeves is an interesting inclusion. Seen a lot of play in Token Druid for the token aggro deck there, and I think it'll do fairly well here too. Because if we just get refill once off the Jeeves, we can seal the game out with these stacking buffs of Murlocs. Other good aggro cards include Loatheb. Loatheb's just an all-around good aggro card to stall your opponent from getting board clears and all of that fun stuff. What else do we got? Cabal Talon Priest. The Talon Priest is going to be pretty good, helping us keep our minions out of range. Just a really good aggro card. We definitely want Leroy as our burst finish. But we're playing against some decks right now that run some sticky minions, so an Owl's probably pretty good too. Alright, so first iteration of the deck, we're running some of the really good Murlocs, like the Bluegill, Rockpool, Tide Caller, War Leader. Amalgam's technically a Murloc. And obviously the two big ones are Murk-Eye and Finja, because these two will just get us ahead on board if we can stack them. Yeah, Leroy, Loatheb, all looks really good right here. So let's give it a test run, see how it goes. Playing against Mage. Maybe we got a shot against a Mage. Alright, we keep Northshire and we keep Rockpool. Just in case we draw into one of our 1-drop minions. Or 1-drop Murlocs. Finja seems pretty good in this deck. Finja's been the MVP so far. Bluegill Warriors, not good enough. I think we just need to curve here. 2 into 3 and do stuff. Tidecaller Bluegill. Interesting. I like that. And so we definitely make the trade with the rock pool over the bluegill, because Frostbolt kills one of them, and we can stop. If we force him to make a ping on this next turn, then we're incredibly happy. We're ahead on tempo right now. If he has something like Counterspell, it never goes off. Or it never goes on with anything good. We only have 4 spells. So that's fine. We don't want to play the War Leader just in case it's Explosive Ruins, so the Amalgam comes down. Wow, it's Counterspell. Well, good thing we don't play Counterspell. Or we don't play things that will get Counterspelled. If we force him on a ping here, he doesn't have much. Alright. Frostbolt, Firebolt. It's Frostbolt. Wondering why he's targeting face. Torch, cool. Even better. Because we can War Leader, and we can Bluegill. And we trade this one in, because we can heal our stuff up. Set up Lethal for next turn. He's got to use Burn on our minions. Which means that most likely he's not going to be able to deal with the Finja. There we go! Murloc Priest! Alright, Paladin. Paladin is something we can compete against. Some of the other decks we played against, not so much. Even Shaman is not good. Our matchup against Even Shaman is horrible. So this is a very good opening hand against Paladin. What we need to do is we need to, like every other deck, get the board early and then win. It's pretty much what it is. Fire Blast is probably going to be situationally a bit better in fighting for board. I'm questioning the life tap with Jeeves in hand. It was actually pretty tough. Fire Blast will be good clearing minions. He's not Baku, so he's not going to be able to put out too many. We'll take the Fire Blast. Man, that's rough. Oh, we just got a tempo here. No buffs, please. We don't want the Blessing of Might. Juggler. Okay. We want these face, obviously. Yeah, we'll play this. Divine Shield, sweet, actually. It's pretty good right now. This is actually perfect. We'll be able to stabilize a turn before he can go. Oh, he has Consecration. Meh. Amalgam, Ping. Call to Arms incoming. Normally we'd be doing good, but he's going to get a Call to Arms. Based off of how my luck's been going the past couple games. Alright. The juggle hits. We are going to trade into that one. So, which one's the most important silence here? Actually, no. We could War Leader, too. War Leader's probably a little bit better. Trade-wise, we need to kill the Juggler. I don't know if keeping the 5-1 around is important. Probably is. He'll need to have a second Consecration, or something a little bit more ridiculous. Like a second Call to Arms kind of seals it. Jeeves is coming down. Talon Priest buffs our buddy here. Alright, so we're in an okay spot. Second Fungomancer. Alright, well, luckily, we have a Spellbreaker. We buff the Jeeves. Play the Northshire. We make some trades. The trade here is on the 1-1. Yeah, on the 1-1. Muster. Okay. Okay, we've got some options here. I like the villain on the Northshire for the trade. No, the villain on the Talon Priest and the Rock Pool trade is proved to be better, so puts it 7. Oh no, we'll do this. Put that one upstairs. Try to play around Tarim a bit, but not commit too much to it. Egg. Blessing of Might. Okay. Northshire Cleric. Ping. Just put it all face. Well, it looks like we've been able to grind this one out. We're in a spot where he needs Sunkeeper Tarim. Alright, well that was a grindy game. He even had Call to Arms on 5, which is pretty ridiculous, but we were able to beat that. So I'm pretty happy. Double Fungomancer. So this deck can go toe-for-toe with tempo decks. Just not necessarily even Shaman. So yeah, let's take a quick review of the deck. This deck, probably not primed to do really well on ladder. My record with it, if we want to take a peek at it, it was something abysmal. Didn't really do super well. Played against a lot of even Shaman. I went 3-7, so 30%. But that's what we're trying to do. You're trying to experiment, try to see what's going on, what's good, what's not. And while this deck is not the best deck, it definitely has some potential. Just give Priest some random, like, aggro cards, like mid-range aggro cards, and this deck could definitely find itself as somewhat of a viable deck. I mean, hell, even in Standard, you see, I think Trump made a video on this relatively recently. So, yeah, it's interesting when you have a specific metagame that's not really that tempo based. A deck like this can really shine. But unfortunately, in Wild, even Shaman's running amok, so it's not the best at the moment. But Finley is very good, helped a lot, especially in that last game. Jeeves was a game breaker. Jeeves was what kept this deck alive so much. Like, I think Jeeves is probably the most important card, and the second most important card was Finja, being able to take some of the cards and essentially be able to swing the board back. That's what those two cards did. Whereas a lot of the time you're fighting for board, and if your opponent gains the board back, you really have a hard time getting back on board. You don't really have much that can do that. So those two cards really helped swing the deal. Lothab and Leroy, good finishers. Lothab helped out in one matchup where we got to play it down, prevent our Priest opponent from playing his Excavated Evil. We won the game from the next turn. And Leroy's just a good finisher. Overall, good deck, fun deck, had a lot of fun. Thank you a lot, Smorkarino. Really appreciate those comments. If you have any other crazy ideas, everyone, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'd love to take a peek at them and give them a shot for the next Deep Deck Dive.